All right. Now we're good. All right. Thank you for the assist with the gavel. Now call to order our October 7th Public Safety and Community Health meeting. Councilmember Bingle, if you would care to join us. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. First, we're going to start off with Chief Oberg with a report from SFD. Thank you so much for being here.
Yep, and you can click through with the clicker there. It's the down arrow.
Perfect, thanks. Oh. So we'll start with staffing. Our current relief pool is holding fairly steady at 17. I'm excited to report the CARES expansion interviews began 2 weeks ago. Had a really good applicant pool for 2 of the 3 positions, so the 2 social managers is what we're interviewing for right now. Had over 40 applicants for that, so I'm really excited with that process. Want to spend a little bit of time talking about our overtime situation. So comparing to 2023, we continue to be better than we were in 2023. So obviously that gap is shrinking the further we go in the year. Right now we're at 8% lower than we were last year at the same time. For pay period 20, which is the end of a FLASA period, so that's when things level out, we are at 111% of the 2024 overtime budget. So we are over 34.7%. I do want to highlight something that we have not looked at going on this year. We've been looking at money, which is obviously the important part, but in looking at hours. So our hours, which really shows that the relief pool that we have been building back up is working, our hours are 22% lower than they were at this time last year. So what the FLASA obviously is a contributing factor for the things that count towards your hours before overtime versus the things that are always going to be paid at an overtime rate. And those are contractual obligations as well as FLASA obligations. But then the other thing that I think we have to recognize is that the COLA and the removal of debit days in 2024 was an effective 14.3% pay raise for the bargaining unit. So again, it's still a concerning picture, but when you look at the hours, it does show that the plan of building our relief pool back up is working. That is the right one. Just still have some dials that we have to turn.
Chief Oberg, so again, and I'm probably one that's not getting this, the overtime, is it both staffing and increasing calls? Which one is the biggest driver for this overtime?
So obviously our number one overtime need is what shift fillback. So that is when we need somebody on a fire truck that we don't have a relief person there. So either sick or injured, and we've already exceeded what our relief pool. That's our number one driver. But there are a lot of contractually obligated reasons for overtime that are not shift work. Kevin, do you know what our number 2 and 3 leading? Mandated. That's still shift fillback. Yeah, shift work. That's really the main thing. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, our people serve on different committees, and there are certain meetings that we have to have and certain trainings, but it really is getting people on fire trucks is our main driver of overtime. So this is the same thing I just showed you. The top one is the dollars, and then the bottom one is the hours. If you look at where we went, looking at hours, when you look at last year and that pay period 16, where we had a pretty good drop off, that was right at the conclusion of getting a recruit school out on the streets. So again, makes sense when you look at it that way. Our response metrics, really nothing crazy to point out here, a pretty average month, so nothing statistically significant in change in our incident volume or change in our response times. I will say, so if you look at our areas of, we call them areas of concern that we really highlight though, so the structure fires and our brush fires stayed pretty steady from last month. So, and hopefully we'll start to see the brush fires continue to plummet down. An area that we are looking at it as an organization, and really the one area that as a department we can make a difference in our response time is what's called our turnout time. So right now at the 90th percentile, we're at 2 minutes. I definitely want to see that come down. We can't drive any faster. We can't get people to call 911 any sooner, but we can control that 1 to 2 minutes when we get out the door and onto the rig. So we're working at getting that number down a little bit. Overdose data, again, nothing statistically significant from what we see in months past. So had a little bit of a drop down from Q3 to Q4, and the only reason that's showing in that one is obviously we're not done with Q4 right now. And then same way with the heat map, it shows what we're used to seeing. Some ongoing initiatives, and we'll start. That is the actual STARS vehicle. That is the one that we got in. So we will have it signaged out before STARS gets it. But as I mentioned, our CARES social worker interviews have begun. Some logistical things. So the Station 1 HVAC, which was an ARPA project, is ongoing. It's processing through just the contracting process. As you guys know, that is a little bit drawn out, but Chief Stockdale is working directly with Jeff Teal to make sure that we're meeting all of those benchmarks. 5 new staff vehicles were placed in service in early October, so 2 battalion chief vehicles and 3 staff vehicles, and that allows us to kind of domino effect and get rid of some very, very old fleet vehicles as we domino effect those down. And then the shop completed 2 engine rebuilds in some of our, one on a ladder and one on an engine. Being able to do those in-house and having the trained personnel in our shop does save thousands of dollars for the department.
Chief, were those rebuilds the older, two of the older ones?
They were. They were both reserve trucks, but they are still good to stay in reserve status. So it was determined that we needed to rebuild them and not just move them on. So they are the older, but not our oldest. Just both on staff kudos and on what's been going on. We did our 10th smoke alarm install blitz, and I say 10th. We started this in 2014, 2 years off because of COVID. We typically do 1 to 2 a year, 1 spring, 1 fall. This was in the Chief Gary Park neighborhood. It was a really nice Saturday, which is great for people to go out. It's not great to do a smoke install blitz because nobody's home when we knock on doors, but we still hit over 300 doors, 300 houses, and installed many smoke alarms. There was at least 4 homes that had children living in the home that had 0 smoke detectors. So that alone is well worth the price of admission. We have 4 homes that are now protected by smoke detectors that were not before.
Chief, do you guys do anything with carbon monoxide detectors at all, or just smoke detectors?
So this program is just smoke detectors. As a department, we educate and help people get with carbon monoxide detectors, but this is grant funded along with American Red Cross, and it is smoke detectors only. So I don't have the same type of data on carbon monoxide.
We did actually get some CO alarms from American Red Cross, and those were included in the list.
They were, okay. My apologies. So yes, so we did have some of those included.
So I know, Chief, the new ones are like combinations, smoke detector, carbon monoxide, or those,
They're not necessarily. So the combination is the way they detect. So in the past, you've had one style or the other. The newer ones, they detect both ways. So they both get the way that the smoke detects on the photoionization. That's when we talk about a dual detector, not necessarily CO and smoke. It's just the dual detecting for the way it detects smoke. I want to toss up this map. So this map is the neighborhoods that we have hit in those 10 years. So under Chief Dahl's team, Jamie McIntyre, our community risk manager, does a great job. We strategically highlight the communities and the neighborhoods that we want to go in and do these blitzes. Chief Gary Park, the reason that they hit the radar this year, in the last 5 years, they've had 24 working fires in that neighborhood. So rose to the occasion of it's time to do an install blitz here. That's it. Any questions?
No. Thank you so much, Chief. Really appreciate it. All right. Now I'll have Chief Hall come on down for the SPD report. Thanks so much for being here.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Chief, has it been a month? You been here a month yet?
It technically, yes.
Okay.
However, I took a week off to move all my stuff up here, so
Stuff is important.
4 working weeks. Okay, we'll run through this real quickly. I'm not going to go through every single slide. There's several of them, but I did want to point out, as I did last time, that we're going to start to tweak this a little bit, hopefully to make it more meaningful for council and for community. One of the things that we're working on is data governance, and what that looks like is we need to understand what's happened throughout time that might change how we capture data or obtain data and how that's interpreted. So we wanted to provide a very generic timeline to show some major events that have occurred in Spokane that might impact the data. Calls for service, something else we're looking at. These are just the way I view this is buckets of workload. So on the bottom there, you'll see those are 911 calls for service. So those are 911 calls coming in that the officers are responding to. The middle bar are crime checks. Those are calls that are being diverted to crime check that the officers are not responding to. And then the top bar are self-initiated activity by the officers. So that's what the officers are doing out there, proactively engaging the community and trying to reduce crime. Together, you'll see that for 2024, 911 and self-initiated activity make up about 55% of the activity that's going on out there. So about 45% of the calls are being shed to crime check. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's the way it's landing right now. And like I say, that's just trying to capture the workload by the different entities that are involved. And we're going to delve deeper into that in future meetings. Once again, we're trying to look at what processes are in place for data governance and why sometimes there are extreme changes or significant changes in the statistical information. You can see in 2023 there were some giant bumps in data. As we pull these and then we try and delve in, we try and go back to see what was going on at that point in time. That first column there, or the first line, 911 abandoned calls, you can see an enormous jump in 2023. When we go back and look at that, we see that Shrek had some staffing issues. 911 abandoned calls are all at the PSAP. So this was a Shrek issue where we believe it looks like that people were calling in, they were getting put on hold, so they would hang up and then call back. So there's multiple duplicate calls in there, and it's just because people were impatient and then they would call back. So that's why we have so many 911 abandoned calls. And then it just continues into 2024. And you can see bumps and explanations. I can go through all of these if you'd like, but like I said, we're still delving into why these things are occurring, why there are statistically significant changes, and most of the time when you see huge changes like that, it's a process issue. Something is happening in the systems.
For those at home, and sometimes acronyms can be a little bit of alphabet soup. Could you go through each column and just kind of help explain what each one signifies?
Sure, I hope I can. Like I said, 911A is a 911 abandoned calls, meaning someone called 911 then hung up. And what we're finding is there's a lot of duplicate calls. They'll call back once they're put on hold. Info calls are just that, information calls. Not a lot of information to go off of. No report, meaning that there was no report taken. They're innocuous calls, or they were shed to 311 or to callbacks. PCB 3 are callbacks. Those are calls that are taken and then sent over for an officer to take a call over the phone. SPA, I don't remember what that is. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the no report. I mean, we get a lot of complaints about Shrek and Crime Check, and they will frequently say, well, there's no officers available, so we're not even going to take the report. And so I would like to get more information on that to break it down to say, was it truly an issue that a different agency needed to handle, or was this simply Shrek falling down on the job?
Absolutely. It's something we're digging into. And all of this, it appears that staffing is an issue. Staffing impacts how all of these calls are handled at that level.
But at no time should we tell somebody, sorry, we know there's an issue, call back later. That should never be an acceptable response.
That should never be an acceptable response, nor should a 911 response be shed over to Crime Check, which is also an issue.
Agreed.
These are vehicle-related calls. The abandoned vehicle unit obviously had a huge impact in 2023, where the percentage is exponential to adding that unit, along with Hulk vehicles, parking violations, et cetera. It's just impounds. This one was interesting. As we started looking at what our different units are doing in the behavioral health space, as well as substance misuse or substance use. The one that I found interesting was the DOAs, and it was a constant uptick across the board. That's a significant number in 2024. Already 448 community members have lost their lives, and it could be for a variety of different reasons, but the fact that that's taking up so significantly is an issue we're also digging into, and we want to work with the medical examiner's office and take a look at what's causing this uptick in deaths over the past 5 years.
Chief, on drugs, how are you capturing drugs? What does that mean, the drug numbers?
I think I mentioned last time how dirty police data is, and it starts from the very beginning when callers call in the 911 and how the 911 call is coded. It needs a lot of cleaning. For drugs, that is just how the 911 call taker codes the call that goes to the dispatcher. So they're going off of the 911 caller's information. These are what we call quality of life calls. I asked a lot of questions about eviction. I wasn't aware that officers were responding to eviction calls, so I can't answer anything. I did not get an answer back on that. We're digging further into that. And then you have the pedestrian interference calls, trespassing, unlawful camping calls. These are all calls coming into 911. And you can see how particularly unlawful camping has just gone up and up and up. This is just a graphic of the unlawful camping, January through September. I think a lot of this has to do with the media attention and folks being aware of the various court litigation that has impacted this. Those are the actual citations for unlawful camping.
Chief.
Yes, sir.
So looking at that, how can we truly say that we are enforcing, and we're told emphatically that we are, with thousands of complaints and single-digit citations? How is that enforcement?
Told you that'd be asked. Unlawful camping comes with a lot of restrictions. So does sit and lie, with having to check for shelter beds. The easiest pathway for patrol officers to cite somebody is pedestrian interference. And that's where we see the largest number of citations with pedestrian interference. They don't have those restrictions with that particular ordinance that they do with the other two. They will, as busy as they are, address the issue in the most effective and efficient way possible that they see And for them, it's going to be the pedestrian interference because they don't have to check for shelter beds. They can effect a citation immediately and have the person move on.
Well, I think that the code allows for other options than that. But sit-lie in particular, one, it should be in our report here that there were 0 citations on sit-lie, and unfortunately it's not here. But I think it's important to think, just walk past the rid path. That's not pedestrian interference. That is sit-lie. And we do not enforce it, not once. And I can't tell you the number of complaints we get about those issues, and we do not enforce. And so what are we doing about it? Zero sit-lie, so how is that going to change?
Well, I can tell you, beginning next week, it's going to be changed because it will be enforced.
Why next week?
Because we're increasing our staffing downtown.
And how will that affect the neighborhoods?
It's not going to affect the neighborhoods. It'll be overtime staffing. And there'll be a reconfiguration of downtown staffing as well.
Okay.
So it won't affect the neighborhoods. We're not pulling resources out of other areas. We're utilizing overtime savings dollars to address the downtown quality of life issues.
How long will that last?
We're looking at a 30-day model right now to see how much that costs.
I'll just point out interesting timing on the 30 days in which we're choosing to start enforcing.
I would submit there is still enforcement. The pedestrian interference is how the officers are enforcing it now. There just needs to be more education on how we're enforcing that in certain areas downtown, particularly with unlawful camping and the restrictions surrounding that, as well as the enhancements surrounding that with the viaducts and so forth.
Thank you.
Keep going.
Sit and lie citations.
Can we go back to that one real quick? Sorry. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.
Pedestrian interference. This is obviously the favorite of the officers for the reasons that I outlined. When we go into crimes against persons, these are violent crimes. The line, just like in previous months, indicates the population of the city. The bar graphs indicate the actual numbers of our violent crime numbers. We are ticking up. This is the same information, only broken out by patrol precincts. And this just drills down to assaults, which we believe are driving a lot of the violent crime. This can be simple assaults and all the way up to aggravated assaults. Once again, we carved out domestic violence because we were looking at violence in public spaces as opposed to violence behind closed doors. Two different dynamics. Same information by precinct. I think you've all seen this before. Shooting calls with at least one victim injury, they are ticking up as well. We often call these skin-piercing shootings where somebody was actually shot. So we are seeing an uptick. Shootings where you don't have a victim that was injured, those seem to be going down. Arrests are going up significantly. I hope by next meeting we can break these out by felonies and misdemeanors. The vast majority of felonies are booked. The vast majority of misdemeanors are not, meaning they don't go to jail, they get a citation. So I think this will be more meaningful in the future when we can carve out who's going to jail and who's getting a citation. And I just want to point out, if there's anything you're not seeing you want to see, please let me know, because we are weekly tweaking this. I'm trying to make it more meaningful for you and for the community. Behavioral health contacts, 497 total calls relieved from patrol. We're trying to be a little bit more distinct on our staffing update. I also wanted to include professional staff, our support staff. We have 98 of those. Key vacancies, I want to point out 6 in records, which is having an impact, 7 in dispatch, which is even having a greater impact. SPD dispatch currently are working on average 12 days straight of mandatory overtime. It's not healthy for the employees.
Chief, given that these are civilian positions, are we able to rapidly fill those, and is there a plan to do so?
We're working with administration right now. Yes, sir.
But that is the plan, though, is to try to get those filled right away?
That is the plan, to try and get as many filled as we can. Then on the other side, we have commission staff. Total right now is 324. We don't count 27, 11 in training. And then we always have the military leave, parental leave, medical leave folks. We drilled this down even more to show command staffing and then the patrol and precincts. The key here is that over 65% of the department are dedicated to patrol. Additional assignments throughout the agency. And that's it.
Any additional questions for the chief? All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks. I can tell you that hopefully by next time we will also have greater data on traffic collisions, both serious and fatal, as well as where they are occurring within the city.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Our first discussion items, resolution supporting City of Spokane Proposition 1. This is fairly, I think, pro forma for what we've done in the past for different city resolutions. We did one for redistricting. We did one for library. So this is one for the community safety sales tax. It's pretty cut and dry.
What's the timing? Is this next Monday as well?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
We're good.
We're good. All right. On our next item, Spokane Cops opportunity for questions and discussion. I do see Jeff Johnson has joined us. Thank you so much for being here. And, Jeff, we'll let you take it away.
If you're baseball fans, there's going to be a play at the plate. We had some technical issues, but we made it. Maybe. Look at that. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl.
And Jeff, you
Okay.
can advance the slides with the down arrow.
Down arrow. Thank you. Oh, all right. Okay. I'm Jeff Johnson. I'm the executive director at Spokane Cops, and I'll be getting each of you a hard copy of this for later. So I'm going to shoot through real quick just a little bit of what we're about, and then hopefully leave a bit of time to answer any questions that you may have. So, how we began, 1991. 2 girls were abducted in the West Central area, and they were both assumed killed. They found the body of one. The other, they never found the body. And there'd been so much going on that finally the residents had said, this is enough. And they got together with the West Central Community Center, WSU Co-op. They registered as a 501c3, hooked up with the police and the Department of Corrections, and the first cop shop was born. I'm the executive director. My background is primarily in media, 30 years of media management. Sandy McIntyre, who is our programs manager, she was 25 years with Spokane Police Department. Our field operations manager is David Morris, 29 years with the Sheriff's Department. And our program and operations coordinator is Cheryl Henry with 30 years in business and management. Those are the paid employees. So Sandy and myself are full-time. David and Cheryl are part-time. Right now we have, give or take, right about 100 active volunteers, and recently we have as many as 23 that are new. And the new volunteers are coming in, you know, they used to come in and it was automatic that they just sit at the desks, right? Well, more and more we're getting more into a vertical model where they're coming in and doing specific programs only as opposed to coming to the desk. And that's how we're getting college students, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So, there's a lot that isn't getting done. So I have contracted out these. I should be doing the advertising and social media since that's what I did. Our Facebook and Instagram, accounting. We've got a grant writer that we're going to be bringing in, and, as well as a fundraiser. The amount, as you will see, the amount of money that we ask for from the city keeps the lights on. It doesn't really provide for our growth, but we're trying to be aware of that given the state of where everyone is at these days. These are our locations. They are all in typically underrepresented areas. The ones with asterisks also house DOC officers. And the DOC officers office there, and they do drug testing on their clientele, et cetera, and they do meetings with their folks, et cetera, et cetera. And what they like to point out, because sometimes neighbors are a little bit nervous, and they'll say, well, it's our good customers who come and show up for the appointments. We do not allow, there's no sex offenders or anything like that that comes into any of our locations. So the services, and this is just January through July. We've done 200 bike registrations, 470 latent fingerprinting requests on vehicles, 461 code enforcement complaints. I mean, you can see. So we're doing stuff, all right? We're doing a lot of stuff. And NOPPing, Neighborhood Operation Patrol, you'll see us talking a lot of that, and that's becoming our emphasis, whether it's in a car, on a bike, walking your dog, whatever, block watch. This is our emphasis, and this is where we're going. We did the walking school routes. We still are. We're just not getting paid for them anymore. The city paid for it a few years through 2022. About 25 grand a year, I think, is what we got paid last year. So we did 4,260 man hours parked at crosswalks and that sort of thing for 35 elementary schools. With our NOPPing, our Neighborhood Operation Patrol, through July, we've done over 9,000 man hours. And that's just what people have reported. There could be more. There probably are more. We have requests right now for shops in these and more areas. We get calls all the time for additional shops. So what do? I mean, really, we help people solve their problems. We get people help. You know, the question has come up several times. I've heard about the victim advocacy program. We had 2 victim advocates as a result of a grant. The grant went away. We still do victim advocacy. It's just we have to handhold people and take them to the places they need to get to, like the YWCA or Lutheran Family Services. Our victim advocates were not specifically professionally trained as victim advocates when we had them. It's just that's what they focused on, getting people to the places that can provide the help that they need. So this year through July, I put a dollar sign, I shouldn't have. We have done 13,143 hours of volunteer work. So times $40 an hour, where did we get that? There's an organization called the Independent Sector. And you can check them out, and they measured the value in Washington State in 2023. The value of a volunteer is $40.28 per hour, which sounds pretty high. Washington is the second highest state in the nation behind Massachusetts. So using their numbers for up through 2023, we've done $529,000 worth of value. We like to talk in terms of, we're not asking for charity, we're looking for partners. We look for mutually beneficial outcomes. So we're not asking for a handout, we're gonna give you a measured return because we have the ability to measure everything we do. Here's the laundry list. Here's events that we have done so far. I mean, et cetera, those are the partnerships, who with on the right. You can look at that later. I'll get you, like I said, all stuff. I mean, on and on it goes. And this is through July. And once again, remember there's 4 of us with volunteers. And it's important to remember they're volunteers. They go home, they have school kids, they have, so their schedules are always changing, and they're coming and they're going. And they provide different levels of amounts of time. As you may know, I mean, people volunteer for things that they're already involved with. If someone in your family has cancer, you're already involved in the American Cancer Society. So, I mean, it's an interesting mix of people. I've been asked before, what does it cost to open a shop? bare bones. It's about 15 grand to open one. You need about 15 volunteers. To operate one is pretty cheap. It's about 4 grand. Once the doors are open, you've got utilities, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's not a lot to open one. Now remember, they're operated solely by volunteers. So there's no paid people in the shops. I would like in the future to be able to have a paid leadership at the shop level. Maybe it's 1 person for every 3 shops to begin with, just in part-time, maybe on a stipend, just to bring a little bit of organization. I find myself oftentimes as the executive director wanting to get on the phone and go, hey, Cathcart, let's pick up the hours. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, he's a volunteer. He can just quit. So my volunteers are also my customers, and so I have to treat them as such. So, yeah, and the more shops we add, I mean, the cost per shop goes down in terms of my enormous salary and all of the other stuff, the things that we do. So here's our revenue and expense. For this year, the city and SPD, it's $475,000. DOC is $56,000, and that's essentially for rent for the locations where they have officers. We'll do private donations of about $34,000, and that number is bad because of me. I've essentially operated as much the business manager, probably more as the business manager than I have as the executive director. That's starting to change and will change more, as you see on the 2025 ask. I'm only going to be asking the city for 4% annual increase. So 475 from the city, 70 from DOC. I'm going to swing for the fence. I think I can get 200 in grants and donations from around the area if I focus on it and spend the time on it, which would bring us to 745 total, which would allow us to add shops. I mean, right now, people are like, hey, we want to add a shop. Well, I don't have any money to add a shop. And honestly, if I really wanted to play the budget game, the best way to hit my budget would be to close a shop. I'm not going to do that. So we'll find ways. One thing you won't find is a lack of energy in our organization. The people are amazing. I mean, I always wonder why they come back. They sit at these desks, and a lot of times, people come to the shop, one, because we're close. I mean, for outreach, we're the closest thing that a lot of these people have to a place where they can go. And not all people are comfortable talking to the police. So sometimes they come in and talk to us. Sometimes they just need a person to talk to. Sometimes they are looking for resources. But we're there, and it helps. And we try and offer compassion, and we try and help people meet their needs, and we do all we can. You had mentioned that you'd gone by a shop and it's closed. That happens way too much, and I apologize for that. But we're short. We just don't have the volunteers. Right now we're working to try and get, and what's happened just by itself is this shop is open these hours, that shop is open. So right now we're trying to get it to where each of the shops will be open from 10 to 2. We'll start there, Monday through Friday, 10 to 2. And then as shops expand, because some have more volunteers than others, then we'll start to expand the hours, but at least get them to where they're all open, at least from 10 to 2. Oh, we have upgraded our phone system at least to where if someone calls, because there's no one at the door, which is frustrating, there's messaging now to get you to other shops. But we need more volunteers. So that is absolutely an emphasis. One thing I did want to bring up, go ahead.
Would you just talk a little bit about the usage of the shops by SPD?
Oh, by SPD? Absolutely, thank you. It's a place for them to go to fill out reports. It's a place for them to stop in, to eat lunch, to take a break. And Chief, they don't just ever hang out, so it's okay. They get in, they get out. But it is a safe place for them, and a place where they can come and not be bothered and do their reports. I mean, in the areas they go, a lot of our people are CJIS qualified, so they can feel free to open their computers and do work that we aren't looking over their shoulders, that sort of thing. And we get a fair amount of traffic at the shops. We just replaced the floor at our west shop, and we're trying to upgrade them. And eventually would like to get a stake in the ground and own one.
I would just add, you know, I've been on several ride-alongs, both on council and prior, and I don't think I've ever been on one where we didn't stop at a cop shop and, you know, go in and spend a few minutes. And so I think that there's a lot of valuable usage there, as well as I think an opportunity too for maybe a safer space for interviews with community members when necessary.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we're proud of, and they started this over at Shadle Center. They've done 3 of them now. They've done meetings where they invite all of the merchants, managers over to the shop, and we bring in police officers, and we host an hour-long meeting, and we just talk about things that are going on. And we get probably 30, 40 people come and talk, and it's been great on a number of levels. One, SPD gets to know on a first-name basis a lot of the merchants that are there. They get to know our people, and as we know, communication is the key to all of this, I mean, across the board. And that's things that we talk about in our Block Watch. We're getting ready on October 23rd. We're going to do one downtown that we're going to hold at First Press, because our shop down there is too small. So right now we're starting to hand out invitations to businesses right around that area to invite them to come and just talk about issues and get to know each other. Because once again, if you know your neighbor, see something, say something. And then we'll go up to Lincoln Heights for the next one, because it's an obvious audience given that it's Lincoln Heights, the center. So we want to be, you know, I told Chief Meidel and I told Chief Hall, I mean, our goal, we want to be considered the #1 resource for the police. I mean, we want to help. We want to do things. We want to take things off their hands whenever we can. We currently, we do a lot of the property turn-ins for SPD. We do a lot of SEPTEDs. I'll be pitching eventually that we do all the SEPTEDs, because we have certified people who can do them. And we're working with right now with Gonzaga University. We have 8 of their students that are certified. They're not certified. They're trained. They haven't gone through the certification yet, but they will. So I guess my ask to you is, we do good stuff. We work hard. We're there. We want to be supportive. We want to help in any way we can. And I guess it's time for questions.
Thank you for that, for the information. So you say it takes $15,000 to open a cop shop?
Approximately.
Approximately. I didn't hear anything about what it takes to keep the cop shop open for the whole year. I know you have rent from DOC that comes in and funnels that, so that would be another cost that was just running in my head, just basic maintenance, utilities.
Computers, internet.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All that
so that's
stuff.
Figured into
the $4,000 a month.
Okay, $4,000 a month.
Here, let me back up.
Did I miss it?
Let's go to the slide. Oh, wait, I have to go up. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so $4,000 a month. Is that $4,000 in your total budget? When you got down to the $745?
No, 'cause that's for a new shop. So I mean, for me to
for
open
a new shop. So, but the current shops is already figured into the budget.
Well, they all vary because I have actual numbers, right? So some are more, some are less, and that's just that's a ballpark, right? Because the other ones are the ones that do their own brochures, the ones that have been around longer. Their numbers go up a little bit based on, and the ones who do fundraisers, you know, if they're doing their own events, then we pay in on some of those as well. So, yes. There's one thing I did want to bring up or ask. We were a sole source, named a sole source in 2008. It went away, and I haven't been able to find out why or how that happens. So I guess my one ask to you folks is, how did we lose our sole source? Because we want our soul back.
Jeff, could you, who are your competitors in the region?
Exactly. But, you know, even if we had a bunch, I mean, honestly, 30 years, you look at the hours, you look at what we do. I mean, and the amount of money we're asking for, granted, $475,000 is a lot of money. Comparatively, you know, I mean, whoops, I want to play nice, but our ask that we pay back 3-4 times to 1 is significantly less than a lot of things that are measured on a much shorter time frame. Yes.
I wouldn't say who's their competitors. I would look at who their partners. When I look at like the walking school bus, I would think the district has difficulty finding crossing guards.
Yes.
Why wouldn't they be a partner and contributing to the cost of that?
I think you just answered it. It's tough. I mean, the schools themselves, we'll go meet with all the principals, and same with the getting the pictures taken and all that of the children. They're just not super cooperative. I mean, when we go and the parents are there with the kids, absolutely. They want their kids, they want it done. But no, the schools are not. I mean, certain ones are, but the majority of them, I mean, they want us to walk their kids to school, and we're not going to go to the house and walk the kids to school.
Okay. Any questions?
Councilmember
Yeah,
Simone?
I have a few. For the locations on East Central, I did see the one on Stone. The one on 29th wasn't listed. Is there a reason?
It is there. It got moved. It was in the U.S. Bank and it burned down.
Right.
And so now upstairs where the Department of Licensing is, it's right next door to that to the north.
I've seen
okay.
the sign, but
Okay.
I didn't see it on your list up there. So I was just questioning, even though they also don't open the door, I was just wondering if it was closed.
No, it's not closed. I probably just didn't feel like typing it in. Let's see. Is it up there?
Unless I missed it.
It's 29. Oh, Mount Vernon. It's 2727 South Mount Vernon.
Got it. Okay. Also on the list that you put on the slide, operational patrol, and that's when you say that volunteers help the school children walk?
Well, what we do is we literally kind of patrol where the crossing guard areas and that sort of thing. If there's snow, sometimes we help move a little snow off the sidewalks, that sort of thing. We don't engage with the kids in terms of walking them from the school to their home or vice versa.
Yeah. Now, are these like already established crossing walks or?
For the most part, yes.
Okay, because we've been receiving several emails on District 2 constituents that there are streets where the kids like run risk of, cars going fast and everything, and they are asking for assistance, either like a calming light or something. So I'm wondering if this is something that cops would do?
We would love, if you get specific areas or addresses, we would love to hear what those are, and we'll try and focus on them. The same way we try and heavy up our knopping based on where the police are heavying up their patrol areas. When we know about them, we'll try and heavy up our knopping in the same neighborhoods for that reason. So if you give us information saying, hey, we've been hearing that Sacagawea call and let us know, and we will heavy up our knopping in that area.
Okay. And my last question, what is your, and I think I asked this before, what do you do for recruiting volunteers? How do you keep them? And again, if I saw that you have over 100 volunteers, and I'm quoting from an email and conversations we had with constituents on September 12th. A couple of constituents tried to reach the Stone and Mount Vernon Cop Shop and several times, and there was no answer. Also, looks like a cop shop in the Hilliard area has been closed for 2 years. So if it's run by volunteers, why are those
Well, Hilliard's open. It's in the precinct, so maybe I don't know if they're going to a wrong location. It's in a police precinct, so.
Yeah, Hilliard hasn't gone anywhere. It's been up and running the whole time.
Yeah, it has not been closed. So, Southeast, the one at Martin Luther King, that's a tougher one. We're shorter there, and you mentioned, and the one up in South Hill, in Lincoln Heights, that one's pretty well manned. So I'd say that one would be open more than not. Our biggest struggle is Southeast. We have probably 4 volunteers down there, and that are committed to just that location. So what we're doing even right now is we're taking our staff, and they're going to start doing 2, 3, 4 hours a couple times a week at those shops as well. We got to have the doors open.
Councilor Zappone and Council President.
Yeah, thanks for all this information, and I think it's helpful for everyone to know what COPS is doing because a lot of people don't know. And I was just wondering if you could speak to kind of what the efforts are to engage younger people, but by that I mean like people who are not retired or unavailable between 10 o'clock and 5 o'clock when the hours are open, and maybe they're having problems in the neighborhood. And I know we talked about that too, and maybe also populations who are nervous about approaching an organization called the COPS.
I'll start with that one, the COPS. You know, we've been COPS, Community-Oriented Policing Services, for 30 years. We've gone back and forth. We have the heritage of the name, and we have the issues with the name, primarily with the younger generation, the younger folks. I've been trying to get an organization to do a commission survey, if you will, only without the commission, so I could find out for sure, because I have my feelings about it, everyone has their feelings, but until we actually do a study, I don't know, because you can push that one either way. I'm honestly up in the air, depending on the day. I think my personal feeling would be to keep the name, but ask me tomorrow afternoon. In terms of getting to the younger people, I think that's where we have to verticalize our programs, right? We used to, and an example I use is Whitworth. We had some Whitworth kids that were coming in to our shop over at Shadle, and they would sit at the desk for 4 hours to meet their need for the class. They'd answer 10 phone calls, they'd do their homework, and then they'd go home. And it's like, God, we had them. We had them and we let them get away. If we would have engaged them, if we would have had them doing things that they thought was cool, we need them to go back to the dorms and go, hey, you need to get involved in this. And we weren't doing that. Our first inroads have been at Gonzaga University. We're working with a professor over there who teaches in the department, and he's got some kids who want to get into some type of criminal occupations, if you will, right? And they have. They've gone through SEPTED. We're going to have them go through some other training, like the latent fingerprinting. And so rather than ask them to come and sit at a shop, which they don't want to do, I have a 22-year-old who can't make it through a 30-second commercial. Maybe they will come and do a SEPTED survey, or maybe they'll go and do latent fingerprinting. It's tough to get them to come for a 4-hour shift. They just don't want to. And so that's how we're going to do it. And we'll tag into that with, not only are you doing some good volunteer work, you're getting a resume builder here, something you can differentiate yourself from the other kids that are going to college. And possibly, if you play your cards right, you're also building a bit of a career path, potentially. If you're smart, you will be. You'll be knowing some names, some people in the places that you would like to go to work when you graduate. So we're working on that. Okay, I have a baby relationship at Whitworth. I got to get into Eastern. I don't have a contact there yet, but that's the call there. Now, how to get the 40-year-olds, 35-year-olds? That's a tricky one because they've all still got kids in school. I'm going to go for their wallets rather than their time, I think.
Okay. Council President.
Yeah. I think a challenge, at least for me, when the cop shop is in a precinct. I know there's one on the south side at the MLK Center. You can't get in unless you ring the doorbell. It's not like a cop shop anywhere else. You can actually walk up and open the door and walk in, which is a challenge with precincts unto themselves. But Chief Hall's already heard that. So that's a concern for me. It's really the accessibility piece going forward as we look at that. And this is the most data I've seen about cops since I've been on this council. So I don't know how the sole source got started, but there's never been any real benchmarks that I have received as a council member about the effectiveness of cops and their programs, and really the original start and the mission drift of what cops was originally for as a sole source. It's kind of ebbed and flowed over the years, I think. So I think that's a challenge for me, as like there has not been any real data, consistency, updates from the organization as to its effectiveness, and it may have to end up being by cop shop to cop shop, since they're also very different as we go forward. So that's a concern.
I need to take both of those issues on as my fault. We are in the precincts, but we need to be manning the door at the precincts, right? I mean, that's part of why we're there. And so if we're not at East Central, I mean, and someone comes up to the door, odds are, even if they want to talk to the police, odds are if we're not there, the door probably isn't getting open. So that's on me. Same with the one up north. Yes, and we're there because it's free rent. I mean, yes. And part of it, and it's no excuse, this is my first go-around. I've been here a year and a half. This is my first go-around in the world of politics and all that kind of good stuff. So it just, shame on me. But I'll go to a board meeting and we have a representative there and I'll kind of report there and then it's just gone for me. I know now, and you will be.
Yeah. No shame in your game.
No,
just,
you're
just that's the
I'm
challenge.
going to make you love me.
Yeah, I'd like to keep us going here. Councilmember Bingle, then Councilmember Cathcart.
Was there a request for a cop shop down in the Riverside neighborhood by the Indigo Hotel? Was there a request there?
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit
Absolutely,
more?
I'd love to, because I believe there's a wonderful opportunity for an organization there, but not a regular cop shop. One, our volunteers probably wouldn't go there, and two, those people are invited to come there, right, for their meals, that sort of thing. I think there's an opportunity to put a facility there, but have it be a training facility. Have it be a training facility for Lutheran Family Services. Have it be a training facility for the Y. Maybe SPD, maybe DOC. Let's have some people who are pursuing careers in that field. Let's have them work there. Let's have them train there, right, just during the daytime hours. It's already been shown, and even with our vehicles, when you have the vehicles down there, the bad guys go away. You know, but they're not all bad guys. They're being invited down there to eat, right? So a typical cop shop just would not work there. But there is a model of a business that I believe would work there very, very well. Because when we were talking about that, I met with a lot of the businesses around there, and they said, yeah, we'd kick in a few bucks, but we were time crunched, and there was not a sustainability model, and I didn't have bodies, but if someone wanted to take time and effort, I think something could work down there.
Councilor Cathcart?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I agree with Council President. In fact, I've been pretty vocal in how frustrated I am that we don't have our precincts open to the public, particularly downtown, but all of them. I think it's wrong. I don't think that that's the way they should work. I think they should be a place that anybody can come and interact and deal with what they need to deal with. But it ain't going to happen in my lifetime, certainly not the direction we're going right now financially. And so I think, to me, the best way that we could actually get there is with a mutual partnership with cops where we have volunteers, we have civilians that are helping to man front desks and helping to provide that first level of interaction with the community. You know, for a pennies on the dollar, essentially, we can provide a service that SPD is not capable of providing at its current point with the financial situation it's in.
We were working on that with Chief Meidel for the downtown precinct, and you know, we ran into all kinds of stuff. You know, whether it was union issues or hours or who was what. I mean, everyone agreed conceptually. It's when we tried to do it that everything kind of got tangled, and so we all just kind of set the ball down and figured we'll try again later. I would love to. I mean, but that would require a lot, because take Scope, for example, our sister out in the valley. Okay, they do more things than we do, but their people, I mean, there's a lot of training required. I mean, they have they have people, volunteers, who will go out if there's an accident, and they'll stand and guard traffic and that. But they have to go through, like, some high levels of low levels of police training to be certified. They have to be on call. So it's a much larger commitment for that type of thing. We're not there yet. I'm not saying we couldn't get there.
But we can get there.
We could, if that was the desire of the city and SPD and DOC, we could absolutely go that direction.
And I thought we'd overcome some of those union issues, but there might be some still that we have to work through. But either way, we're not going to have full officers manning front desks when we're 25 short plus needing 100 more beyond that we, you know, are not going to be able to fund for quite some time. So, but my follow-up question to this is, again, we're running out of time. You've got a great board, and one of them is here today, and I just wonder if you would just mention the board and the individuals that serve on that, and introduce the person that's here today from that board.
Stand up and take a bow, sir. And Karen Stratton is our newest addition to the board. Maggie Yates is here. She's a board member.
And Councilmember Stratton was a longtime liaison with COPS when she served on this committee and has a lot of wealth of information. So if anybody on this board has questions, she's another great resource that you are all very welcome and open to
she answers mine
interacting
all
with.
day, every day. Councilman Bingle, you were a board member. Candy Davis, I mean, she's been a great help. She's at the board, comes to a lot of the different board meetings. Scott Burkhart, he runs the board. He is a DOC, and I don't know his title. He's a manager for a bunch of them. And retired Judge Randy Grant, he's on our board. Victor Frazier, who runs our Shadle shop, he is the board representative from, not our at-large, our staff, I guess, representative. And who am I missing?
Two others I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
I do want to keep us moving.
Let's go, yeah.
So I have one last question. And just thank you again for all the data. It was very, very helpful. I guess just on the grant fund piece, if your stretch goal for the overall budget is to get to 700,000 and you're looking at 200,000 in grants, and knowing that this is a pretty singular program, I'm curious what sources of grant funds are you kind of looking at, or what is out there, if you could answer quickly?
Well, right now, I mean, community-oriented policing on a federal, state level, I mean, there's lots of dough out there. We just didn't have a grant writer. I mean, anyone who knew how to do it. There are also a lot of companies, and I try to stay away from retail because that reduces the potential of a retail organization getting out of line, say, with the city or whoever. So typically non-retail organizations that still want to promote. I've thought about sponsoring programs. I mean, there's dough out there. It's just having to go ask for it. So.
Thank you.
But, if we didn't get any, we'd still be okay. We'd keep the doors open.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Next up, ordinance expanding sit and lie prohibition citywide. I believe Councilmember Bingle, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So as we heard from Chief Hall earlier, this is not a provision that has been enforced all that much, and in the current code, it does mention if shelter space is unavailable, then we can't enforce it. A couple things that this ordinance does is that it expands it citywide. The idea being, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And it's not something that is obviously intended to be punitive in any way, but a tool in the arsenal so that we can, maintain order when necessary. And it also removes the provision that there has to be shelter space available. And so that wouldn't be a prohibition anymore for the police to enforce. So that's, yeah.
It also changes the time. Correct.
Yeah, at all times, citywide, at all times. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question for Councilmember Bingle, which is, would you be interested in presenting this and getting feedback at the next round table?
I'm happy to present it. I presented it at the Homeless Coalition in August, and so it's not something that homeless providers would be surprised by. Like I said, I already presented it, not in extraordinary levels of detail, but told them that I was doing it. So,
Council President Wilkerson.
Yeah, geese and gander. So I understand the principle behind it. What would be equitable across the whole city. I also heard the chief say, he's looking at the structured model and the ability to enforce. I think the frustration for me as a council member, we put these things out there and our citizens have expectations that we will respond. We don't have the capacity to respond. It continues to fuel that frustration and disappointment in a system that we are trying to realign, I would use that word, to meet the needs of our citizens. So I guess I'm just challenged, Councilmember Bingle, going forward under the constraints we have. Training was another thing I heard from the chief. Currently, our officers don't understand some of the nuances of the training between, pedestrian interference and sit and lie as we go forward. So I do see some real hurdles around this as we go forward. So I guess I'm just challenged with, I was challenged with downtown. I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan, and going citywide, I was even more challenged with that.
I would say we're removing a lot of the nuance by making it, citywide. It's not like, I have to check a certain zone. I don't have to check a time anymore. I don't have to check to see if shelter beds are available. I think it makes it far easier. I think it removes the nuance personally. But I think it would also be something where it's not just like this council put something into place, but it's important to remember that 75% of people approved Proposition 1, and that was when the people felt as if we as a body weren't doing our jobs properly, that they put it forward and said, actually, this is the law that we want and this is going to happen. And so I hear what you're saying. Like I said, I look forward to a list of other laws that we should be repealing because we don't have the resources to do it. I haven't heard another one yet. But this one specifically is being talked about. So I think it makes a ton of sense. I think it removes the nuance.
And just for one that is being talked about, we're at the roundtables talking about the activation criteria for emergency shelters because we don't have the resources at the current levels. So it is being talked about, and I encourage you to come to these. We have over 50 different community stakeholders across, from providers to business to neighborhoods, all there engaging in conversations and trying to come to compromise and understanding across the board. And so would welcome you to be there.
I will say, from my entire time here on council, Tuesdays have always been off the table for me, and so anything we schedule on a Tuesday is something I can't do. So if we schedule on another night, I'm happy to be there. But Tuesdays, as I think everybody on this council is aware, and previous councils are aware, I can't do things on Tuesdays.
Councilor Cathcart.
I think Councilman Klitzky.
Sorry, Councilor Klitzky, I did not see you online. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe this is a little moot now, but I was just going to also encourage Council Member Bingle to come to the roundtables. I've been attending those, and it's not just service providers, it's downtown business owners, concerned citizens. It's really helpful to have a broad swath of stakeholders in the room hearing the same message from people and giving their input and having a chance to talk about that together instead of going to these separate forums where people don't necessarily have a mixed audience.
And for the record, I do check in. I see the videos, I see the pictures, and I know many of the people who are there. And so I call and get updates from their perspective on how it went because I don't want to miss out on what took place.
Councilor Cathcart.
Yeah, same. I've seen the videos and the pictures, and I will just say it's certainly not representative of the 75% of folks who voted not even a year ago on what they wanted to see. And so the idea that we're going to host roundtables that will kind of wash away the opinion of 75% potentially is frankly offensive. I do not think it's the right thing to do. If we want to have town halls to just talk about issues, let's do it. But this specifically, deferring things, putting them off conveniently till after the election, all these things, it's not conducive to trust, and it's certainly not transparent, because I think what we're going to end up with is a lot of things that people are not expecting because they're not showing up to these meetings to have their voice heard because they can't. They registered their vote. They'll do it again if you give them the opportunity, but they don't have the ability to show up to these things. Even the downtown business community is not entirely showing up, as is evidenced by the small numbers at these events. And so I don't think that this is going to be truly representative of the community at large. And so I think there's going to have to be a lot of continued investigation and questioning depending on what comes out of this process. So we can have the conversation around sit-lie there. Sit-lie has been on the books for years. And so now the idea that we're going to have these special roundtables to consider how and if we can even enforce it, which we're not enforcing, obviously, as we've seen the numbers. It's just, this is wrong. It's just absolutely wrong. And the taxpayers, the voters, should be offended.
Councilor Navarrete.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're open to ideas on maybe how District 1 representatives can help with the outreach of just bringing more people in, because the purpose of the roundtables were for everyone, and that's what the constituents said we need to be heard. So that's why these roundtables were created. So, you know, maybe you can help us with recruitment of people that feel that are not being heard. They're more than welcome to attend, but we also need to go out there and let them know. Come, we want to hear your voice. But on the sit and lie, I have a question for Councilmember Bingle. Okay, so sit and lie. So anyone that's sitting, standing, they're going to get a ticket or, get in trouble. Does this also pertain to, for example, people that, and not this is going to be, if passed citywide, is this going to be also for people that are, say, at the Apple store waiting for a new product and there's a whole line out there because they are, getting in the way of people walking in the sidewalks? Are they going to also get tickets? Or say people that are in the putting their chairs down for the torch parade and they're just in their, they're sitting their chairs there from morning until the parade starts, and they're sitting there waiting. Are they also, or in anywhere in the city, they're waiting outside a store or something, are they also going to be part of this?
Yeah, so there are 8 exceptions in this, and I'll read them. 1, sitting or lying down due to a medical emergency or due to a sensory, mental, or physical disability. 2, who, as the result of a sensory, mental, or physical disability, utilizes a wheelchair, walker, or similar device to move about the public sidewalk. 3, operating or patronizing a business with permission to occupy the sidewalk. Participating in or attending a parade, festival, performance, rally, demonstration, meeting, or similar event conducted on a public sidewalk pursuant to the special event or other applicable permit. 5, sitting on a chair or bench supplied by a public agency or by the abutting private property owner pursuant to the appropriate permit or license. Sitting within a bus stop zone while waiting for public or private transportation, sitting on a privately owned sidewalk fixture with the permission of the owner, or engaging in constitutionally protected expressive activities which would otherwise be restricted by the limitations in this. So those are the current exceptions.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilor Kliski, do you still have your hand up?
Sorry about that. I will add, since my hand was still up, even though it wasn't intentional, I think if people were attending the meetings themselves, they would know what we're discussing. We're certainly not discussing getting rid of Prop 1 or taking away things. We're trying to get collaborative solutions to these bigger issues instead of just trying to take one-time swaths at them that aren't working.
And I would say I didn't speak to what was going on in those meetings, but back to Councilwoman Navarrete's point, there are a lot of people there because, I have reached out to a number of organizations and said, hey, you should be attending these because they are driving a conversation. And so, we are actively recruiting. I do wish it wasn't on a Tuesday night so that I could attend, but Tuesdays are out for me.
Councilor Zappone?
Yeah, I just feel like I have to, defend all over the 50 people that are engaging in hard conversations and spending a lot of their volunteer hours and being told that that's offensive to be doing that work. I encourage council members to all come and engage in that work. It's pretty easy to sit here and propose an idea, but to workshop it, engage with diverse stakeholders, and doing the work behind it and trying to find some consensus is a lot of work. And so I, like Councilmember Navarrete said, we have done a lot of outreach and done a lot of invitation and welcome anybody at the table. So I hope District 1 will show up to the table.
Well, and I couldn't agree more, which is why I've spent almost 2 years of my life working on the Regional Homeless Authority, where we had some pretty solid agreements between the surrounding areas on a good direction. And that included many, if not all, of the service providers, as well as represented by Experience Matters and other organizations. And so there's no shortage of effort by Council 1 and by me in particular on this particular issue, and proposing many difficult ideas. I proposed an idea and then got thrown under the bus by just about everybody and their mom when it came to the facility out in Medical Lake. And so there's no shortage of ideas coming from District 1.
Thank you. I would like to kind of keep us moving along. There was one point in this ordinance that I do want to mention that did stand out to me, and that is the enforcement of sit and lie laws still require adequate signage of the law. Practical enforcement depends on availability of police and code enforcement services. That has not been calculated, and you had when I first started, you had a great idea about fiscal impact and fiscal analysis, and I think that this is one of those times that definitely would help guide that discussion and underscores why we need that.
Yeah, and I think if we did that for every ordinance we passed, I would happily add that into this conversation, because it is very important as we're passing ordinances to understand the fiscal impact, not just to the city, but surrounding businesses and the citizens themselves. That's an important consideration, I think, for us as a council to take.
All right, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think, frankly, we should work up a budget for how we enforce every law. I mean, frankly, from the top to the bottom, if we're going to pick and choose based on the cost of enforcement, then we should get a cost for every single law, and we can start deciding what we want to enforce based on that, if that's the direction we want to go. But yeah, I mean, I think Councilmember Bingle is right. If we did that for every ordinance going forward, and we should, there would probably be a lot of things that this council would not be able to move forward on. And so I think it makes a lot of sense that we would look at that data and make sure that that's a transparent piece. But it's got to be equal across board. It can't just be for things that District 1 proposes or Councilmember Bingle and Councilmember Cathcart propose. This needs to be an across the board, even keel policy that applies to everybody.
Yeah. Nobody ever said, I would like to move us along.
My comment, for this one in particular, there needs to be a fiscal impact with our budget at this point in time. To move this forward without knowing how it would impact the budget, what additional officers would be needed to really enforce this the way citizens would like it to be enforced. I mean, it's a real reality for us. I don't think we can just ignore it just because we voted in.
Okay. All right. Adam McDaniel, Maggie Yates, come on down, establishing the Community Safety Fund.
Yeah, so the purpose of this ordinance is to provide additional accountability and transparency for revenue generated through the community sales tax measure if it's approved by voters in November. The ordinance has two parts. So it establishes December 31st, 2035 as the sunset date or the expiration date that the measure will expire unless it's stated by voters in a primary or general election. And it also creates a special revenue fund where all revenue from the community sales tax measure will go if it's approved by voters. It also codifies, just or adopts by reference, all the sales tax exemptions that are already in state law. So, you know, for instance, like there's exemptions on food, exemptions on motor vehicles, exemptions on prescription drugs. Those exemptions would apply if this measure is adopted by voters. And finally, it includes an automatic repealer. So that would remove the ordinance from the code if it's not approved by voters or in a subsequent election it's not approved by voters.
Great. Any
questions?
Any questions around? Go ahead.
I'll just say I have an amendment. We'll talk about it at briefing.
Great.
I have a question because it got onto the agenda on Friday is my understanding. It was frustrating for me to see that it was placed there on a time where, again, you know, we're going into the weekend and it's going to be on today. Are we going to be able to modify or amend this if we weren't able to get amendments in until today?
That's kind of a council side question. That was something that we considered in our adoption of the rules this year. Was, you know, is there a window of opportunity to amend something under a rule suspension? We didn't clarify one way or another in our rules whether, you know, an amendment can happen at that point without a rule suspension to amend, you know, as well as add it to the agenda. So that's something that I would actually turn over to our Chris Wright to kind of give an analysis on, I think.
You can make a motion at any time. I guess this is the bottom line is that as a council member, you would be able to make any kind of motion at any time. So if at some point meeting as a council body, you have a motion to suspend the rules, you could consider that. There could also be another motion to make your amendment and persuade the council to either adopt that amendment. Or you can make a motion to conceivably, this might not be quite proper, amend the motion to suspend to allow for amendments, depending on how it's initially offered. So there are some mechanisms under Roberts to allow that to happen.
Yeah, I would just put out there that if we're taking an ordinance that wasn't in before our ability to submit amendments, that we should be able to discuss all of that tonight.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I do hope we address this in our rules update. I think it's important that we do. But essentially what you're saying is unless 5 votes agree essentially that an amendment can be considered, even though this is a very last minute sort of deal, that's the only way. So essentially the council majority can both add legislation and prevent any sort of amendment if they so chose, barring a change to our rules.
Correct.
I haven't seen your amendment, Councilmember Bingle.
We circulated it.
That's circulated.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Adam?
No, but I do appreciate some of the language in here that you put out. I thought it was thoughtful. If the concern you were trying to address was the sunset, I thought you did a good job.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Next up, MOU for residential lighting and program ARPA funds. Pollyann. Good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, Council President, Council members. I'm Pollyann Bird, she, her pronouns, from the Office of Neighborhood Services. And thank you for having me today. I'm sure most of you know about this, but I just want to give a brief update on the residential lighting program. Our working title is Safe and Bright Spokane, so we got something to work with there. Which was established through the ARPA funds, as you know, in June of 2024. We are presenting the MOU for discussion today, which outlines a partnership between City Council, ONS, and utility billing to move this program forward. The program goal is to install solar or battery-powered motion center floodlights in residential areas in the public right-of-way, focusing on alleys and other areas of low lighting. Program includes two elements: a process to reimburse residents who purchase and install an appropriate light, and secondly, a process to distribute and install lights for residents who are victims of crime, who live in high crime areas, who are unable to purchase a light for reimbursement, or who cannot install a light on their own. We are collaborating with SPD to help identify victims of property crime and general high crime areas, as well as planning on working with SPD Volunteer Services Department. We are talking to the SPD Volunteer Services, potentially working with two groups. The Co-ops program, which is a joint venture between Spokane Police Department and local colleges and universities to support SPD's patrol division. It is designed to provide non-law enforcement services and tasks that do not require law enforcement power or police legal authority. And then the Explorers Group, which are folks that are a little bit younger, which are part of the Boy Scouts of America under their Learning for Life program, which allows for opportunities to learn about a career in justice, the criminal justice field, while serving as volunteer aides within SPD. Both groups will also be accompanied by their program mentors for this activity. And these participants have also had background checks and are covered by the city's existing insurance policies, although I just heard from Jackie at SPD, they're still looking into some of the liability issues for installation because they'd be helping folks install the lights. And perhaps, indemnification form like code enforcement uses to say you can come on our property and you're kind of covered, city's covered there. I'm looking at Chris Wright and maybe Scott Jordan, the city's risk manager, about that one. So residents who purchase and install their own lights will submit a copy of the receipt after it's installed, and we will have a web-based portal. I and ONS will validate these reimbursements and provide addresses to utility billing who will apply a credit to their utility account. So we're working with Heather Sweet and her team to use 311 as a mechanism for tracking and reimbursements. The city will track participating addresses and relevant metrics such as streets receiving additional residential lighting, neighborhood calls for service related to violent and property crimes, number of crime check calls, and number of related 311 calls. We are working with the VISTA to identify effective and affordable light options which will be eligible for the program. And ONS, in partnership with Kristen Davis, has created a marketing plan utilizing social media, city outlets, and print media, including materials in multiple languages. ONS will also work with the neighborhood councils to spread information, and we will also provide the SPD officers with materials to hand out, namely a business card with the QR code to learn more about the program, as well as utilizing the Axon My 90 texting system to encourage prior victims of crime to participate in the program. And we've even talked about potentially door hangers in areas of high crime. So the budgeting, $150,000. We've said $25,000 to go to marketing, including translation services, and create the materials I just talked about. $50,000 to purchase and install lights for victims of property crimes, and then $75,000 to reimburse residents who purchase and install on their own. I'd love questions.
Any questions for Pollyann?
No questions, just thank you so much for the presentation and really excited to see this program get going.
Great, thanks. I love being up here, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Last but not least, Mr. Matt Boston.
All right, thanks, Council. So here to talk about a couple of different things, and this really started in the development of the 2025-2026 biennial budget. So we uncovered that, and I think I talked to you a little bit about it during our last finance meeting, where I said that I'm very, very concerned about 1625, which is the Public Safety Personnel Fund, as well as 1910, which is the Criminal Justice Assistance Fund. Both of those have had structural gaps buried into them for the past 3 years. They've built up a reserve over the years because primarily, especially in 1625, that is where the vacancies for the public safety department have been held. So when they have, let's just say, using rough numbers, let's just say that they have $5 million in costs that are allocated by 50 different positions, and let's say each of those positions are $100,000, cost $100,000 a piece. If you've got 25 vacancies, you're building $2.5 million per year on an ongoing basis. Historically, there have been some pulls at the fund balance in different ways. One of them was a pilot project that funded municipal court criminal justice counselors. Another one was and really the significant one that we're going to be talking about today was the $4.6 million SBO that was covering the overtime costs in 2023 during the mid-year budget review. So, to give you a quick background, just like I said, in the creation of the 25-26 biennium, it was determined that both criminal justice, which is 1910, and public safety personnel, which is 1625, are not sustainable on their current plan using reserve dollars each year. If you look back at the budget to actuals during 22, 23, et cetera, there was a grab at reserve dollars each of those years. Again, there was some flexibility with the criminal justice assistance dollars that gave the legislation the ability to use it for homelessness services as well, and I think that was another grab as well. Currently, as it stands, there's a large unpaid liability that is still sitting there from 2023 based on the mid-year budget review. So just to give you a little bit of context, and it's a bit nuanced in terms of governmental accounting, but in 2023, as you remember, the ones that were on this council, there was a mid-year budget review where we were pushing back, meaning the legislative body and the administrative body were pushing back and forth on what the delta between the surplus and the deficit was going to be for 2023. It was finally agreed upon that there was about a $9 million shortfall looking in 2023 based on overtime costs. That said, they took roughly, the administration decided to take roughly $4.6 million from the Criminal Justice Assistance Fund and 2.85 in the original SBO from the public safety personnel. That was anticipated reserve dollars that were projected to be there based on the projections that they had on what the costs were, as well as what the expenses were that were going out. Obviously, in 1910 generally holds our jail bill, and so we always get a true up in period 13, which happens subsequent to the year end. They charge us for the second prior year close, and they say, okay, we're going to bill you this, and then we true up at the end of that close period, and that bill was larger than the city anticipated. So the solution that we have is kind of a twofold solution for you. It's to move the positions out of the special revenue fund. I talked to you about this during the finance meeting. Having positions, first of all, in a special revenue fund that has a pretty stagnant revenue growth makes it just inherent that there's going to be a structural gap that's going to be in there anytime that you have cost of living increases that are outpacing that revenue growth. And as we know, between both property tax as well as sales tax, those growth rates are pretty stagnant at this point in time. And we've entered into some contracts with our public safety departments that definitely outpace revenue growths. I'm sorry, Councilmember Cathcart, did I see your hand up? No. Okay. So this is just giving you, again, a little bit more context on the July 10th, 2023 SBO that was approved. It's taking $4.6 million from the 1910 fund, which is the criminal justice. It's also taking 1625. Those moves right there wiped those accounts completely down to zero. It didn't give it any sort of buffer whatsoever. There was a bit of an alarm on the council side when we were saying, "Hey, this is an aggressive approach," but it was ultimately decided on that. The 1.45 transfer that you see on the bottom, versus the 2.85 that was originally on the SBO, was based on the need that was actually needed within police's budget by year end. There was something within the language of the briefing paper that said if it's determined that we need a lower amount for PD overtime for 2025, we will take the lower of the amount, and so therefore instead of it being $2.85 million, it ended up being $1.45 million. So when we did this is kind of a twofold slide. This is showing 1625 and the SMC that's currently out there saying that there's a public safety personnel fund into which shall be deposited all tax levy funds received from the levying of property taxes for the purpose of hiring additional police and fire personnel and funding crime reduction programs. I tried to see in the actual ordinances that were passed, as well as the additional resolutions, and even going back to the ballot language, if there was any dedicated split between how much was supposed to be for police and how much was supposed to be for fire. I really couldn't find anything other than news articles that related to 20 police officers and 30 firefighters. Other than that, I didn't see anything that was written or distributed by the city of Spokane that said, hey, we are going to have 20 and 30 police officers. I saw both prior chiefs illustrating the challenges and the opportunities that passing this levy would present. As you probably all do remember, this was the expiration of the SAFER grant. Yes.
I was just going to say, I seem to recall that was a big part of the messaging, but in part the city wasn't willing to commit officially that would be the case. And so I opposed it for that reason. I believe Mayor Condon at the time opposed it because it was not specific enough. But the messaging that was sold to the public was
20 and 30.
30 and 20.
Yeah, and I mean, to take a step back, right now, the split between police and fire, based on the increased cost of dispatch, is now more police than it is fire. So it's roughly about, I can't remember the numbers, but I think it's about 68% of the annual revenue is going to police, and roughly 55 to 58% is going to fire. Now, I know you say, wait a minute, that doesn't equal to 100%. Remember, we are building a structural gap in these funds. We are pulling reserves out of these funds every year. So that is where the revenue exceeds the 100%. So again, that's what this SMC says that it's for. I did see a resolution that says something from the council that said $250,000 was going to be used for crime training reduction. I can't remember the exact specific, but again, a resolution, nothing actually within the SMC. When we looked at the biennium fund projection, and Jessica Stratton, the director of budget, and her team did this original analysis. They said, okay, well, here we are. We've got $2.2-ish million for the ending fund balance for 2023. We've got 6.4 going into the revenues for 2024, 8 million going out the door. Again, that structural gap ingrained into that fund for the 2024 budget. Then that estimated fund opening balance is about 585,000. But as you see, 2025 has a deficit of 622. So because the general fund, the public safety personnel fund, and the criminal justice funds are all circular, they all kind of help themselves, it makes the most sense to say, okay, let's get out of the business of putting these positions in these special revenue funds, and let's put them in their respective department. And so that is what we are doing on this, but it's also going to help us solve the problem because we're going to be moving the positions over for 2023, or I'm sorry, for 2024, we're going to move the 32 positions over, which is roughly $3.1 million, and the budget that follows it. And then we're going to absorb the savings in the 2024 budget from the SSP plan to say, okay, we've freed up capacity in the public safety personnel so that they can pay the $1.45 million liability to the general fund. So that's step one of this challenge. Step two is going into the 1910 criminal justice. Again, you probably remember that liability was $4.6 million. And I apologize. The 2026 is cut off there, but it's also a deficit. I can't remember the exact amount, but I could probably get it for you. $910,000 is the projected amount for criminal justice. Again, criminal justice assistance, it's good news is this one doesn't have public safety personnel in it, had very little personnel whatsoever in it. The bad news is that it is a stagnant revenue growth and it funds the jail costs that we have with the county, and they do have personnel costs attached to that bill that we receive. Again, remember, we receive a bill, we receive our budget for the upcoming year based on the last closed year. So in this case, we're saying, okay, and there's an inflator that's in there as well based on cost of living or the COLA adjustments that they ingrain for their staff, as well as the trend that we're seeing for increased bed count. But year over year, that period 13 close has been pretty substantial. And from going in $4.5 million per year in 21, 22, where COVID hit and we didn't have a lot of housing costs for our jail bill, to now where those bed nights are going up and up on an ongoing basis. We're going from $4.5 million to anywhere between $6.5 and $7.5 million in just jail costs. And just so you all know, and it shows up there that our budgeted revenues are about $7 million, and again, very, very stagnant when it comes to growth on the sales tax and that. So with this big $4.6 million liability that is sitting there, what is the solution that we have for it? Unfortunately, the solution that we're putting up is, again, twofold for 1625 and 1910. 1625 I already touched on, but 1910 is to post a post-period adjustment. It's an accounting term that says basically from our 2023 books that we've already closed, we're going to remove a substantial portion of this liability from the due to from the criminal justice fund to the general fund, and we're going to reduce that by $3 million. And essentially that's going to absorb into the 2023 retained earnings so that the two funds, 1625 and 1910, can be solvent during the biennium. And that we can maintain our obligations that are already ingrained there. We're going to be pulling out the fire positions in part of the 25-26. So this isn't just solely for police. As you probably saw in the prelim budget, the fire positions have also been pulled out of 1625. But that keeps us afloat, and then it also shows us where the personnel, the overtime costs are actually tracking within the departments, and it mitigates this 2023 challenge that we have. So going into the updated biennium projection for 1625 lets us at 1.15, 1.15, or 1.156 for 25 and 26. Now, again, in the development of this, we've thought more and more, and Jessica and I have talked more and more about what we need to think about, similar to what we're doing with police, or I'm sorry, similar to what we're doing with the general fund, what we need to do of saying what are the reserve balances that we need to have in these accounts, because having a minimum floor is going to be something that's wildly important especially, yes, for 1625, but especially for 1910 when we're getting that period 13 bill, because that's such an unknown until we get that bill and that closeout that we need to have the money there, and we can't be scrambling in period 13 to try to reopen our books based on what has already happened. So again, 1910, you see that 3.5, 2.4, and 1.8. Now, those numbers don't reflect what could happen to the jail bill in this year. We're already starting to talk about the jail bill for next year, and we've talked to Bryce over at the county and their detention finance team, and they're expecting higher costs. And we've got to really dig into what those numbers are and how exactly we're getting charged for those either bed nights or bookings, or what the differences between the two are. We've already requested that information to get a true and accurate representation of what exactly it is that we're getting charged for. So I know that was kind of nuanced and weird and financed out, but if you have any questions, let me know. Yeah.
Well, we talked Saturday, and if the goal is to kind of move away from the special revenue funds for this purpose, we talked a little bit about this. What are your thoughts then on traffic calming and the money that we're using out of that to help fund police?
Yeah, and I looked a little bit at that. So currently, as it stands, that the traffic calming, and I did go back and look at that 25-26 obligation. We still have the 1.8 in there for the 2024. I don't see it in there for 25-26. So I was going to talk to you about that maybe we should sit down and see where you pulled that from.
I was pretty sure I saw it in there. So if it's not there, then my mistake.
Yeah, I don't think we have it in there. The positions, the 9 positions that were created in that fund that have gone vacant, and so there's been no expense ever materialized in that count, are still there. We can obviously remove those positions. But I'm not going to have that conversation without obviously you all, as well as Chief Hall, kind of being involved in that conversation, so I can understand what the impact is. So I'm not scrambling to get them back at some point.
And just one quick follow-up. And then on this, since we're sort of moving, and to your point, like we're obviously out of whack now, so we're not following it now. But if the hope or goal is that out of this fund we are funding 30 and 20, now that we're kind of transitioning it to the general fund, what would be a mechanism to try to ensure that remains the case with these dollars, since that was the obligation?
Yeah, and that's where the tricky part definitely lies, right? And I know that this has been a conversation with the 7 of you as well. You have to be careful on being, and I'm sure that this was part of the conversation when it was being talked about 20 and 30, but never hit the actual ordinance itself. I think saying, okay, am I, for lack of a better term here, am I handcuffing myself to 20 police officers and 30 firefighters, or am I giving myself kind of a little bit of breathing room to identify what the need is at that current time? Now, again, that flexibility obviously can be risky for people looking into the future, saying, hey, I will have no control over this, and it needs to meet the spirit and intent of what we're currently voting on it for. I think identifying splits between kind of what the funding status is in SMC is probably a mechanism that you can use on that. If 20 and 30, you say 60 and 40 is the percentage that goes to those two departments. That's something that's justifiable from my point of view. Again, I probably would have investigated it further if I could have found something that was written from City of Spokane relaying that information and not just press.
Well, in the measure itself, I mean, there is sort of the loophole of crime reduction program. So that was put in there. That does kind of give you other options. And so, but if this council wanted to put some sort of a side guard of some sorts, that would be possible, is what you're saying.
To my knowledge, yes. I mean, you'd have to ask Mr. Wright as well as Mr. Piccolo to see if they can, from a legal point of view. Yeah. But I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to divvy out like percentages based on the need of funding and where it needs to go. I think, quite frankly, from a percentage standpoint versus an actual personnel and position standpoint is a lot more helpful because, as we said, what buys 20 and 30 today is not what's going to buy 20 and 30 in 10 years.
Yeah, and I think we're just talking ratios and things like that, but anyway, leave it there.
We are bumping up at 3 o'clock, so go ahead.
Quick. I would just recommend that anytime we're altering something approved by the voters, That is a really, really delicate situation, and I would not mess around with that.
Yeah, and I don't think that this alters anything of what the voters have done. In fact, I think the only thing that this has done, I mean, if the 20 and 30 was something that was sold to the voters, and again, I don't know, but if that's what the case was, it's now, as you can see, 32 police positions that are being pulled out of this fund. So it's surpassed the 20 positions, and if anything, decreased on the fire positions of that fund. So I hear you, but I think that, I mean, I don't think we're doing that in this instance. I think we're just we're taking the funding and we're putting it to those positions within those departments.
Thank you. Well, we like nuanced, weird, and budgety.
Yeah.
So thanks
Sorry,
for
can't be
coming on
more
down.
good news today.
Yeah. Let's run through our council reports here quickly. We did shorten this up because we had some dormant groups. So Police Advisory Committee, there's the larger community meeting on Thursday at 5:30. It's the quarterly PAC meeting that'll be at the MLK Center. We just heard from cops. All right. Mr. Wright.
Just two quick items. I circulated earlier today a nice manual on parliamentary procedures for local governments. It's an easy read, probably take you an hour and a half. I think it's pretty informative. There'll be some stuff in there you already know, but I highly recommend you read it. And the other is I'm still working on meeting with all of you to finalize the work plan. As soon as I've met with everyone, I'll circulate that.
Great. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Paulson.
I have a slide.
Yeah. Oh.
History.
slow
I'm making history
down,
today.
Slow down.
I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of where we are at with our legislative team deliberations. And part of why I wanted to get it up on the screen is just looking for your help in identifying what might be missing from this list. This kind of represents all the input that we've gotten from the council side. The administration has a very elaborate process underway to identify other potential legislative needs, and we'll take a deeper dive into that this coming Thursday at our ledge team meeting. But we obviously don't want to spend time running through all this. A lot of it you're already familiar with, but I did want to draw your attention to a few things that probably are not ready for prime time yet, but we're working very hard on in anticipation of the session, including land value tax assessment, particular interest of Councilwoman Klitsky's. And I think we have a November committee briefing or study session to learn more about that topic. Looking for your help in developing capital budget items. The first item on that list, the Latah-Thorpe DNR transfer, appears to be a much more expensive and therefore heavy lift than we had anticipated, to the tune of potentially $10 million. So we're looking at alternative strategies on that item. And then the other things listed there are projects you brought up in the previous few weeks that as being important to you. We try to lend support to our community partners like we did with the American Indian Community Center a few years ago, lend our lobbying expertise. So if you know of organizations that could use some heavy lifting, we are here to help. And again, if there's anything that just jumps out at you as where's this on our list, let me know so that we can trudge forward. And just a quick logistical item on timing, and then I see you have a question. We're looking to brief this at Finance Committee in November, and then we'll have a legislative forum, hopefully with our 3rd, 4th, and 6th district legislators the second week of December. So we're right on schedule with all that. Lots of time to still add stuff if needed. Yes, sir.
I'm sure I'll have more input as we get closer, but just a question, appraisers. Has that issue been resolved? Should that be on our ledge agenda for this coming year? The issue of the 6 units and what... 6 versus 4. Yeah, 6 versus 4 and what appraisers are able to do. I really haven't heard any feedback about it being resolved or not, so...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That issue feels like it really died down last session to the point of dying out, actually. I haven't heard a lot either, but I'll look into that for you.
I think we were told basically it was just going to happen on the executive end, but I just don't know if that's actually the case or not. So if we could find out maybe from our state lobbyists, that'd be great.
Yep, glad to. Yes.
So I know we're talking about this, but the infrastructure investment here, AWC priorities and us supporting infrastructure investment, but are we going to be making any specific capital asks about, like, again, the mess out in the Latah area of reconnecting roads or widening tunnels or anything along those lines, and being able to partner with, whoever owns the railroads?
You're talking about 195 Latah Thorpe
195,
infrastructure.
that corridor, yeah, all of that.
I mean, it's sort of the ball's in the council and the mayor's court on that to some extent. We do have a process that we've requested the Commerce Department to intervene and pull stakeholders, groups together. So I know there's a lot of work being done there. Councilman, you might have better intel.
Yeah, and last Friday we actually had a really good conversation with BNSF. It's kind of I think a good introduction into some of the priorities, specifically around the wildfire mitigation efforts that Nick Jeffrey is working on, and looking at a more collaborative partnership.
Yeah, because I saw BNSF has something coming forward on our agenda, so I'm interested there. The last question I have is that we had discussed at one point a partnership with one of the fire stations out in that area. Did that also die? I can't remember.
I think it's still all on the table. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We got, what was it, $500,000 in funding last session, and then we're going to have a convening, I want to say, in November with some of the different, 200,000? 300,000, there we go. We're going to have a convening in November with a lot of the residents, WSDOT, fire, and so it'll be kind of Latah Town Hall to talk about next steps.
I thought it was 350, but either way, it's a lot of money, and we just need to use it now. But full steam ahead. We'll take it. Thank you, friends.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Anybody else have anything? We're good. All right. Meeting adjourned. We'll see you next month on November 4th. Thank you all.